Welcome back to the third segment of Bernama Today. Fabian Narcis together with Mr. Erik Gielen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry that I pronounced your name earlier on a bit wrong, but so he came in and explained. It's not Erik Gielen, it's Erik Gielen.
Yes, very good.
It's very Dutch. Thank you.
Thanks.
The Marketing and Public Affairs Director of Rockwool Southeast Asia. And Rockwool, you may not have heard of the name, but basically Rockwool is a fire insulator that's smack between your walls to protect you from fire, right? He's going to be here talking to us about how to spread message in keeping Malaysia fire safe.
That's correct.
Right. Before we go down that road, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Rockwool, the history of Rockwool, and how the company started, to where you are today.
Rockwool is a Danish company. It started in 1937 in Denmark, and it has spread around the world. With this message of fire safety, we also make buildings more energy efficient and even absorb noise, so you have a more comfortable living environment. We have expanded, and we have now 4 factories in Asia, 2 in Malaysia, 1 in Malacca and 1 in Kuala Lumpur.
So it's produced here locally, all our stuff?
Yes.
So the rocks are also from here?
Yes, the rocks are from here, but it's a very common rock you can find everywhere on the world. So, so it's very easy to get that as well.
Right. Okay. Basically, when we talk about Malacca and KL, how many people are you employing in each?
A bit more than 200.
200 per particular factory.
No, in total. In
total. All right. So, well, you have not. You as a public may not have seen these insulators, and they are smack in the middle of your elevator shafts, your walls, and everywhere.
And roofing as well.
Your roofing as well. So maybe you can just explain a little bit, how do you create the product, as we have the videos to show. How do you create Rockwool 1? That's the video that you're wondering. The producers will be wondering which video. Rockwool 1 will be the one. You'll be showing how the materials are made. So it comes from raw stone, and how does it come about? Maybe you can just explain.
The easiest way to explain it is the process of making cotton candy. We melt the stone with 1600 or more degrees. And then, of course, it becomes lava, like a volcano. And we spin these droplets of lava into fibers. These are collected, and it's very much like normal wool you get from a sheep. Then we cure it, which is basically an oven to make it very stable and strong. And that's it. And that's the end product. And we can cut it in all different ways and shapes. And you can put it in the wall, in your roof. We also see it in hotels, for instance, in what we call partition wall, where we use it for acoustics. So when you're in a hotel room, you don't hear the next door neighbor, whatever they are doing.
Right. So from stone wool insulations, it helps prevent fire. When you talk about noise as well, when it actually absorbs, the material absorbs noise.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. It's just like the ones that was it fixed in the studio or something like that? Because studio is soundproof, right? Some of them are using the really thick kind of sponge and all that to absorb the noise. Would this be an alternative to
yes,
noise
absolutely, because it doesn't bounce off any of the noise.
So what's the difference between the combustible and non-combustible insulation? I mean, when we talk about fire insulation, we have the video demo that saw the so-called balloon in the house and all that. It's not burst after going through a strong fire. So we talk about combustible and non-combustible insulation. What's the difference?
Insulation mostly is used for making buildings more energy efficient. Of course, everybody wants to save the environment, but also some money in the wallet. So you want to save on your electricity bill. And you have different types of materials to do that, insulation materials. One is stone wool, made of stones, and the other one is what we call foam, and it's based mostly on oil. And of course, everybody knows oil burns. Stones don't. So if you use an oil-based material on your wall or on your roof, and you would get a fire in your kitchen or outside, kids playing with a match, this material would burn up. And stone wool, of course, wouldn't. You can try to burn it as much as you like. It won't, because it's made of rock and stone. And what we try to do here in Malaysia is making people aware, because we've seen and we noticed that very few people actually know this. You don't know about insulation materials.
That's right.
You think you're fire safe, and it always happens to someone else, right? And we want to bring this message across. It can happen to you, and it does. Another problem with these oil-based materials is they smoke a lot. The smoke coming off. And the problem is these smokes are toxic in different kinds of levels. Also, this is something most people don't know. 4 out of 5 people in the statistics we got from Europe die from smoke toxication, not from burns, not from fires.
Right. So your efforts to spread the message on keeping Malaysia fire safe. Recently, you've done a demonstration about well, fire safety, right? Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, we had this event yesterday with great help from Bomba.
Okay.
And we tried to show what happens if you have a roofing system with the different materials. And this is a roof you can find anywhere in Malaysia.
Right.
So we had stone wool and 2 foam-based, oil-based materials. And we used a certain testing method because it needs to be scientific, of course. We lit a fire underneath the steel deck, and on top of that is the insulation. And you could see within a few minutes, 4.5 minutes to be precise, the roof ignited. Not because a flame was coming there, but because it became so hot and the material started to melt, it itself ignite. So you saw big flames and a lot of smoke. And we had more than 100 people there, a lot of architects, some from government as well, because we wanted to bring this message across. We wanted to show them. And I talked to a lot of people afterwards, and what everybody said was, this is really scary. I didn't realize it can be like this. We had a 4 square meter roof, but the smoke went up 10, 20, 30 meters.
Because it's easily flammable, that's why it's going up so high, right?
Yes, exactly.
With rock wools keeping the roof safe means the fire is actually contained in the house so that it doesn't go out and spread to another place.
Exactly, that's correct.
Okay.
The fire, to prevent fire, what you try to do is first you want to create enough time for people to escape the building. You want to get your family out safe and sound.
That's right.
And you want to make sure that firefighters are safe to go in the building or make sure they can put it out. And stone wool does both. It gives you more time because it doesn't contribute to the fire, and it can contain it in one room.
Right, Erik, I'm just wondering, right, all this is being used commercially. In fact, in our Bernama leaves, we're using this as well. But what I'm wondering is it viable for a person, you know, to put in their house? Because you know, materials like this will be keeping houses safe as well, right? So it doesn't burn the neighbor's house, right? So would it be cost effective for a person to be putting stuff like, I mean, rock wool fire insulators in the house?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and we get that a lot. My first reaction is, can you afford not to? The damage to your house, to your loved ones, but also the albums with your photos of the family and all that, that's something you don't want to lose. It adds a few percent to the cost. It could be to your house, but you will save back your money with the energy efficiency you get. And it's a bit like an insurance. You don't want to pay for insurance, and you buy an insurance for something you don't want to happen, but it does happen, and it can happen. So it's an insurance. It will help save you money on your electricity bill.
Okay, go ahead.
It will be more comfortable if you have these torrential rains. It also insulates for noise, so you're more comfortable. Your kids study easier.
More quiet at home and all that, and it doesn't disturb the neighbor.
Exactly. But in case a fire would happen, and God forbid, nobody wants that. But if it happens, it will give you more time to escape and get your family out.
All right. I'm just wondering, right, if you don't mind sharing with us a little bit of numbers, what's the range we're looking at for a, let's say, a 22 by 80 house? How much are we looking at? I mean, can you maybe give us a range? Because sometimes, of course, with more paddings, it costs more, you know, eventually. But a basic house like that, 22 by 80 square feet house, how much would that roughly be in the range of?
We normally look at percentages, and it's a very small percentage, depending on how thick you want to have it and how good it should be. It can add anything between 0.5% and 1.5%, but of course it can increase. But one of the great things Malaysia is now doing is increasing the energy efficiency requirements. So you would see better and better insulated houses because it saves money, and so you'll see an increase in thickness of the insulation. So in general, even if you don't use stone wool, you would still have your added cost to the house. For us, it's just a message: make sure when you do it, and you'll need to do it in the future, make sure it's fire safe.
But this is are you guys going to the commercial building site? I mean, for apartments and all that, because you know, you're talking about a lot of people here. You're not talking about like one unit, because you know, my unit is connected to the other person below us and all that. Does guys like them actually buys this and insulates floor by floor, room by room?
Of course, if you're in a condo or in high rise, mostly a developer would build the building and then sell it out to people interested. So as a buyer, you have less influence over the process of construction. So it's important that developers know about this, and architects. And we had a lot of architects yesterday seeing this happening, the fires, and we try to show them what kind of products you could use safely.
Right.
So the whole value chain or the whole construction industry needs to know this and be aware that you need to have fire-safe materials.
Right. If I'm a person watching at home, right, how do I find out a little bit more about Rockwool, and how do I, ensure that I am safe?
Yeah. Well, you can always go on our website, rockwoolasia.com. But what is most important is that you talk about it. When you're looking for a house, ask this question: Is this house fire safe? Did you use fire safe materials? If you want to build your own house, of course, you're the decision making. You can say, I want to have Rockwool in this house. But also talk to your local government representative. What is the regulation on fire safety? Are you making sure that everybody here is fire safe?
Right. All that and more. Thank you very much, Erik
Gielen. Thank you,
Fabian. Thank you very much for coming in the morning, early in the morning, to be joining us today for this interview and explaining to us what Rockwool is all about and fire insulation is all about. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone's using it. Just no one knows about it. Everyone's using it in your leaves, wherever you are. I'm sure there's fire insulators. Stay tuned as Gerard will be coming in to talk about a little bit about the Rainforest Challenge together with his guests right after the commercial break.